All right, it's showtime. If you're seeing this before Black Friday, you better put this play into effect immediately. You don't have a sales problem, you have a demand problem. Coach T, what are we talking about? You have there's this big reason why people aren't enrolling in your program at the velocity that you want them to enroll in, and it actually has nothing to do with your sales and everything to do with how you're generating demand. So in this video, I'm actually going to walk you through exactly what the problem is and then how you can fix it right now. And hopefully, if you've seen this before the holidays, specifically, we got Black Friday coming up, you got Cyber Monday coming up, you got people who are actually looking to make investments. This is a good time to fix this problem. So, all right, so let's dive into it. So there was a point in time where, as I was continuing to build my business for my first few years, I would make offers to people. I would say, hey, hey, I got a coaching program. I think you'd be interested. Hey, would you like to join my coaching program? This is before I went full time in 2020, and I realized that I didn't really have people that were enough people that were really that interested in terms of enrolling. And I was getting some people, but it wasn't enough to go full time in my business. But I've been able to go full time. And this is the reason why. I'm like, man, I feel good about me actually knowing how to help people. 9 times out of 10, you're probably already knowledgeable in terms of what you're going to coach people on. The problem starts to come up when you looking at, man, I'm actually putting in some work, but I'm not getting the sales. So we start getting confused and we start to doubt ourselves. Don't doubt yourself. What you're going to start, you have the order incorrect. You have the order incorrect. So there's a process that I teach my clients, and it's called the appointment pipeline. And I'm going to share that with you right now. The appointment pipeline. So Coach T, what is the appointment pipeline? That is a great question. So let me share that with you right now. So the appointment pipeline is this. Is that you have, and I'm actually going to share it from this perspective here. So you've been working on the wrong stage, right? Meaning the wrong stage of you actually wanting to help people. So if you saying, okay, I have a sales problem because I'm not generating any kind of steady income or getting clients, you're actually already you're like 4 steps ahead of where you need to be. You already at sales and clients. So when I say a demand problem, it's because you're not generating enough demand, and you're not generating enough demand because you're not generating enough attention. So let that sit for a second. Attention is going to be based off of the traffic. So you have to be more visible in order to generate more demand. So with that translation, what you have is fine. The offer is fine. What people like what you have. People they can get value from what you have. So you don't even have to change that. You just have to create more demand by sending more traffic your way. If, for example, your product, we could be offering the same service. Like, let's just say, both of us, we do social, let's do, we do social media content training, right? We teach people how to do social media content. Okay, great. Now you have a program, I have a program. Now let's say that you're meeting with one person a week. And even if we both have the same closing percentage, so you meet with one person a week, let's say 1 out of every 10 people signs up for your program. And then 1 out of every 10 people sign up for my program. If the only thing we changed was it takes you 10 weeks, because you meet with one person a week, to get one client, but I meet with 10 people in 1 week, although we both have the same closing percentage, which is 10%, 1 out of 10, I'm going to have 10 clients by the end of 10 weeks, and you're going to be at your first one. The only thing we changed was the traffic, right? So I was able to generate more demand, not because I changed something crazy, but because I was able to get more traffic. And this is why I go so hard over ads. is because you don't have to change nothing else. Just get more people to pay attention to your message, and you will be able to make more of a steady income. So so a lot of people, when I'm talking to coaches, they're already down here talking about sales. But then when I start talking about, well, where are you getting your traffic from? They can't tell me. Well, how are you getting leads? They can't tell me. They're all over the place. And then wonder why they're not getting the sales, because you got the order mixed up. Don't even worry about sales right now. You need to be focused on one reliable traffic source. And here's the key: that does not rely on you. That's the key. One traffic source that does not rely on you. So you don't want to be in a position where when you get sick, you can't generate traffic. When you go on vacation, you can't generate traffic. When you are taking care of a family member or loved one, you can't generate traffic. If you get pregnant or if you get a new kid to come into the world, you can't generate traffic. Anytime, especially since you might be in a place where you're the only person that's on your team, or you may only have a couple people on your team that, like if you stop doing the marketing, you stop doing the advertising, then that's going to dramatically impact the demand that you create for your service. So what if there's a way you can generate that without actually putting you in a position where soon as you stop working, you stop making sales, or you stop getting clients, right? Or prevent you from getting clients. So this is why this is like super important. So, okay, so we got it, right? So you got to get traffic. Now I have a process that we call PATE, which is the predictive ad tracking engine. So this is how we actually get the leads, or like how we actually generate the traffic, right? So I was on a conversation with a lady not too long ago, and she was like, well, I told her about it, told her what the investment was, and she's like, well, she said, okay, well, yeah, you definitely not cheap. She said, well, I could go, other places out. I'm looking at a couple other different places that people that can run ads for me, that's cheaper. And I said, absolutely, you can absolutely do that. I said you can actually just go overseas too, and there's VAs, and you can get them to set up your ads and do all of that great stuff. I said, but here's the challenge. I said, do you want to value getting something for cheap, but you're less likely to get the outcome, or would you rather pay more, but you're more likely to hit the outcome? And she was like, yeah, well, I mean, I definitely want to be able to achieve the goal, especially if I'm gonna spend any kind of money. Exactly. Right. So this is what I tell my coaches, that like you got to be willing to pay a little bit more to actually be more confident that you're going to reach the goal. That's what this is about. You can always, anywhere that you could go, you can always find somebody cheaper, a cheaper competitor. I mean, there's a race to the bottom. You can always find somebody who's willing to get in at the race to the bottom. But here's the thing: if you're willing to pay more, then you're paying more you're paying to get the result faster. But on top of that, you're also paying to virtually guarantee or put you in a better position in order to reach the goal, right? So you're actually lowering the risk when you actually are working with somebody who's more likely to get you to that goal. So this is important. So this is what we call the predictive ad tracking engine. So this is our process on how we leverage AI, how we leverage automation, how we leverage data from your ideal audience, and we utilize that in a way where we put this through our system. And what that does is that allows us to create ads, that allows us to create scripts that knock it out the park. I have one of our clients we did this with, and she was able to get 336 leads in 14 days. She went out of the country kicking her feet up, drinking pina colada, doing whatever she do. And she was like, yo, what's going to happen with the ads? I said, don't worry about it. I said, come back and just call the leads that we got you. She came back to 336 leads, and she didn't have to lift a finger, right? Why? Because she wasn't really getting that many leads because she didn't have a reliable traffic source. But we launched the ads, and then we leveraged what we call our predictive ad tracking engine. And that's based off of me being in this industry for 10 years. And then my whole background in cybersecurity. So I know tech, I know automation, and I know AI. So me being able to also utilize my skills, because that's what I went to school for, utilize my skills, and then utilize and then create that in order to be able to generate the type of leads that my clients want. And then those leads are going to bring you appointments. And then now that you have appointments on the calendar, that is what's going to put you in a position to make sales. So this is what's actually going to change the game for you, is that aspect of it. So don't mix up the order. Too many people are mixing up the order, and you going straight to sales, but you don't have any traffic source. It's like, well, I'm kind of trying this, I'm kind of trying that. I get a little bit of word of mouth, a little bit of referrals. I go to an event here, I go on an event there. You know, somebody might do something with my content, or I might get a message here there, but it's not reliable. And I'm the one to talk, because this was how initially I thought I was going to be able to go full time with my business. But as soon as I said, oh, I keep complaining about sales, but I actually need to be focused on the traffic, because that's what's going to allow me to get the leads, which is going to allow me to generate the appointments, which then is going to allow me to make sales and get clients. And then I do that consistently enough. That's how I'm going to reach my revenue goal. So that's how that's going to happen. So if I take you through the example, right? So let's say, for example, your goal is 10K per month, and you're willing to invest $500 a month on ads, and your goal is $2,500 per client. Okay, great. That's pretty simple. So don't worry about the sales right now. The 10K is going to get itself. The clients is going to get itself. Let's focus on how are you going to generate leads. Okay, you're going to generate the leads because we're going to run ads. Okay, great. You want to hit it out the park the first month. So if you want to do that, okay, great. You got to have somebody do it that has experience. If you don't know how to do it, you got to get somebody that has experience. So boom, let's say we running it for you. So then we do it. Boom, you get 100 leads. Let's say you get 100 leads your first month. Now you got the leads, right? Because we already got the leads. And then out of those 100 leads, you book 40 appointments. Okay, great. Now you got those 40 appointments. Out of those 40 appointments, which really is only like 10 appointments a week. 10 appointments a week is only 2 a day. Anybody who's serious about their business could do 2 a day. You cannot say that you're in the coaching business and you call yourself a coach and you're also a CEO, because you're not just coaching because it's a hobby. You're doing it because you're also a CEO. So if you're in the coaching business and you're a CEO, you need to act like one. And you need to put time aside in your schedule to make sure that you are able to speak to at least 2 people a day. So now you're speaking to 2 people a day. And I'm not even including weekends. You should include weekends, by the way. Meet with people on weekends. That's some of the best time. I used to run up my weekends when I was working my 9 to 5. So, okay, boom. You're meeting with 10 people a week. That's 2 people a day. Out of those 2 people a day and 10 a week, you get 4 clients in a month. That's only, if we spread it out, it's only 1 a week. That means out of every 10 conversations, only 1 person. You think you could get 1 out of 10? Do you think you get a 1 out of 10? 1 out of every 10 conversations. Most people will get more than that, even without you having official sales training. I mean, I spent a lot of money on sales training, right? So I know I've had one-on-one coaches and mentors and everything, like learning sales. And I'm telling you that you can get 1 out of 10 without even having any formal sales training, especially if you do this enough. And then there you go. You at 10K per month, right? 2,500 times 4, or whatever your price is. Your price might be $1,000. Okay, great. That's 4K a month. That's an extra 4K revenue stream, income stream that you got coming in. The whole point of it is not the specific numbers. The whole point of it is that you have a reliable traffic source that's coming in and bringing you leads consistently, so you could get to the point where you have the opportunity to make sales. The opportunity to make sales. Because you're going to look around, and as you continue to see your peers and other coaches that you know They're going to be elevating because they get this. They get it. And whether you like it or not, the person that's seen the most is the person that's going to get the business. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. That's just the way life is. If we keep seeing somebody and we keep, it's called the mid-exposure effect. It's the more that you see something, the more that you trust it, the more that you become open to the idea. So if people aren't seeing you enough because you're relying on the algorithm to make you seen, or you're relying on just your organic posts to make you seen, which most people are not posting 10 times a day, right? But even if you were posting 10 times a day, you're still going to be mostly limited by the people who follow you. So with that, you're not getting nowhere near the amount of exposure and attention that you should be getting or that you deserve, to be honest. If you're a good person, you got a good heart, you know you got a good service, you know you can really help people or coach people, then you really should be seen more. But if you're not doing that and utilizing these ads in order to get seen more, the people who are willing to do it, the people who are serious about it and putting their money behind this vision that they have, those are going to be the people that's going to get seen more. And when those people are getting seen more, guess what? That means that person is getting more information. If that person gets more information, that means that they're going to be more trusting of whoever they see. If I see somebody, I mean, think about it like this. Let's say if you wanted to work with, two, matter of fact, let's use this as an example, right? So let's just say you're looking at two ads agencies you want to work with. Are you going to work with one that maybe you really haven't seen? It might be your first time seeing them, or you don't really know them or trust them, or you're going to be willing to work with one that you've been seeing all of the time, you're seeing the content, you've been seeing whether it was testimonials, you're listening to things, it's making sense, like you paying attention, you joining, you might be part of communities. Like, it just makes more sense that if you had to choose, you're going to choose the one you're more familiar with, whether you like it or not. That is how we're built. The people that we're more familiar with, the brands we're more familiar with, are the ones that we tend to spend our money with, the ones we tend to go to. So you got to put yourself in the best position to do that. And if you can do that consistently without your effort being behind it, and you could just throw a couple of dollars behind it, you're going to more likely be able to reach your goals when you do things like that. All right. So this is what I call the appointment pipeline. And this is what's, it's been allowing me to be able to grow throughout the years. So if this is something that you really like, you're like, yo, I like this. Like, this is something that I'm feeling. What I want you to do is right now, if you catch this right now, during this live, I'm going to give you access to a free masterclass. So all you got to do is comment free masterclass below. Comment free masterclass. I have a group. Inside of my free group, the Coaching Playbook, I have a masterclass, and it actually does cost, right? So it costs $97, but I'm going to give you access to this masterclass absolutely free. This masterclass teaches you how to actually create a certification coaching program, and it also teaches you how we run ads. And so it gives you the strategy and all that. And it's $97 inside of my school community. But if you catch it now, comment free masterclass, and I will give it to you absolutely free. But you got to capture it. You have to capture it during this masterclass. All right. So I'm gonna give you the next 5 minutes to do that. And with that being said, continue to be great. Slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.